It's 2:17 a.m. in New Orleans, and Lester's digital workspace is a graveyard of unfinished ideas. Across 3 monitors, he is attempting to manually synchronize a television pilot, a feature treatment, and a visual mood board, all at once. In software development, spaghetti code describes a system so tangled and complex that it becomes impossible to maintain. When a single creator tries to manage the branching logic of 3 distinct narrative formats in their head, they hit the limit of human cognitive bandwidth. The variables simply outpace the brain's ability to track them. The weight of this chaos is physical. It carries the ghost of Harmony Draft 01, a massive failed project from 2 years ago that collapsed because the connections became too brittle to hold. This solitary, brute force approach to world building is no longer viable. In a multi-platform environment, the traditional script can't survive the pressure of its own complexity. An email from development changes the objective. They aren't looking for a standard screenplay. They are commissioning a story that behaves like a software product. To meet this requirement, the narrative must exist as a scalable structural framework. This single framework must be rigorous enough to output a sequence of repeating standardized episodic blocks for a television series, while simultaneously collapsing into a self-contained closed-loop arc for a feature film. It also has to accommodate branching interactive paths, and the entire architecture must be locked in 6 weeks. Development is mandating a ground-up reconstruction of the creative process, treating story structure as a piece of architectural engineering. Curious turns, Lester turns to Arc, a gesture-based interface. It contrasts sharply with his messy room, where data blocks snap into place with fluid, logical precision. Arc doesn't write the story.
It functions as a structural guardrail, organizing project states and prompting the user to clarify the underlying logic before a single word of dialogue is typed. Friction occurs when the system detects a structural flaw. As Lester attempts to bypass a difficult section, Arc triggers a soft chime, asking if he wants to avoid a specific past pattern. The machine isn't being creative, it is performing pattern recognition. It forces Lester to confront the emotional blind spots that caused his previous projects to fail. This is the new creative partnership, a system that provides the objective structural integrity needed to prevent human error from breaking the narrative logic. Even with the system, Lester is blocked. He is struggling to invent a fictional world that can demonstrate such an abstract, rigorous logic from scratch. He finds a path forward by documenting the very system he is currently navigating. The meta-struggle of the writer becomes the demonstration of the software itself. He begins typing his own present reality into the document, the room, the fatigue, and the software interface. The struggle to build a system becomes the script's primary arc. A story about building a scalable system is the ultimate proof of concept. The narrative finally mirrors the architecture it was built on. Arc reacts to this new meta-narrative input instantly, scanning the text for a unifying logic. A centered window dominates the screen. Arc has identified the theme. Stories are systems. When Lester clicks confirm, he merges his creative intuition with the engine's objective organization. His chaotic pilot files are immediately forced into alignment. The scattered notes snap into a rigid, unified framework. That same logic cascades through the feature and interactive formats, stacking them into a single, 3-dimensional cylinder of data. At this moment, the process shifts. The friction of manual creation gives way to a harmonized, symbiotic partnership. The spaghetti code has been successfully compiled. Lester is no longer staring at a mess of fragmented drafts. He is looking at a clean, deployable master document. This suggests that the romanticized idea of the solitary writer, relying only on inspiration, is becoming a difficult model to sustain in modern production. The required skill is shifting. Future creators will likely spend as much time on systems architecture as they do on world building, ensuring their stories have the structural logic to survive different formats. Lester's transition from scattered drafts to a unified document provides a glimpse into a different kind of creative future, one where intelligent frameworks provide the scaffolding for human intuition to reach its intended destination.